How do you nurture a lead? I'm Arthur Petropoulos, managing partner here at Hillview Partners. We're a middle market, lower middle market, M&A capital advisory firm helping companies and executives generating $1 million to $10 million a year in pre-tax profit or EBITDA, sell their companies, or secure capital. And we'll keep this second video of the week short because we don't want to draw attention away from our handbook that we just released earlier this week and that I will again shamelessly plug. We'll put in a clip here of the older video as well as some sort of animation relative to the address www.hillviewps.com/handbook. That's our sister content source, if you will. We have the YouTube and LinkedIn videos here and the handbook for any people that prefer to read and not listen to me ramble on endlessly. But that being said, today's video, how do you nurture a lead? And really we break it down into 4 components that we want to walk through as to how to take someone who is kind of interested in what you do to someone that would be very interested in what you do. And it's part of the process, if you will, that we see within sales of companies that we're selling or finding capital for that really differentiates those that have a very successful sales approach to those that perhaps do not. It's not just throwing out harpoons or nets and saying what comes in, but it's how do you get someone that is kind of interested and bringing them forward to kind of nurture or enhance that level of interest. So, to that effect, the first is direct communication. And this oftentimes is corollary of what the offer is. And so, what pain do you solve? Under what time constraint can you do it? What is the probability of success? And what is the pain that must be incurred to stop the other pain? And as you can imagine, the pain of your process, solution, product offering needs to be less than the pain that it solves, otherwise nobody's going to want it. And so if you can clearly define, we provide X service to X industry to solve this pain with this high level of probability of success, if not guarantee, while doing so in a pain that is far less than the pain being currently experienced. If you can summarize your offering, if you will, if you can directly communicate this, it will greatly nurture the interest of the respective lead. Number 2, have a defined path forward. If you say, we can do this thing for your company, we can provide this service, provide this product, whatever it may be, and it does solve some problem that the company has or provide some desired outcome that they'd want, there needs to be a path. There needs to be a treasure map. How do we get from A to B? What are the steps? What are the different hurdles along the way? And what you'll find is it can't be 1,000 steps along the way that creates the idea of this is overly complex, Rube Goldberg cracking a peanut with an anvil. But at the same time, it also can't be, hey, we start and then we'll get back to you in a year and tell you that we did it. There needs to be clear milestones along the way, clear hurdles, clear thresholds, clear steps. And if you can show that type of a Gantt chart, if you will, of what that looks like, it will make the lead much more interested in what you have to offer because they say, okay, I get it. This is the thing they do, and this is how it is done over this process. So number 3, create a rapport via content or materials. And so what we mean by this is if, for instance, and we'll use our own company as an example, if someone were to reach out and say, hey, Arthur, I'd be interested in talking to you and your team about selling my business or securing capital, we will say, wonderful, let's schedule some time to have that initial chat. But in the meantime, check out our YouTube channel, check out our handbook. Again, the shameless plug for the handbook, but nonetheless, that is precisely one of the most valuable uses of the content. So if you write research, if you write white papers, if you make opinions on things, if you make content on things, give those to somebody. If they see you talking, if they see you speaking, if they see you communicating your view of the universe, your ethos, thesis, whatever it may be, they're either going to say, yeah, this really feels like someone I'd want to work with or a team or a company I'd want to work with, or, you know what, we really don't see the world the same way, and perhaps they'll self-select out, but it creates an efficiency. And what we find is, even if you get on the ultimate call with somebody and they say, hey, I watched 30 seconds of your video and you're not a moron, you can say, great, that's a wonderful place to start, right? So for all of the potential outcomes of that first call, already some of the bad ones have been sliced off. And so if you can do that, if you can nurture the lead via creating a rapport, and to the extent you can create that rapport without even needing to do it yourself manually, so to speak, but through a lot of the things you've done, testimonials can be another case, profiles, case studies, whatever it may be, that can create a further nurtured lead. And lastly, is create a natural rapport. And what does this mean? Well, in the world of technology and AI and automated everything and algorithms, be a normal human when you talk to somebody. Have a conversation. Tell them what you think about things. Ask them. If the first thing you asked in every single phone call you had was, where are you from? Oh, that's great. Were you from there originally or were you from somewhere else? If you ask those 2 questions alone, the person will like you a little bit more or dislike you a little bit less when you actually dig into things. There's nothing worse than getting a call with somebody who wants to sell you something and you say, hey, how you doing today, Bob? And they say, great, so what we can offer you is blah, 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 at 15 cents off every 100, piastres you pay for or whatever. It's like, yeah, we all know why we're on the call and what we're ultimately going to talk about. However, there needs to be some sort of a human connection. There was a saying someone was told me, and I don't know if this is statistically or scientifically true, but it seems, I read it in a book or on the internet. But they've said, look, people will spend the first 5% of their time creating a baseline assumption of who you are, what you're about, and whether they like you. And they'll spend the balance of the 95% of the time kind of trying to reconfirm or reiterate or emphasize that their initial instinct was correct. So if you think about it, if the first 5% of a call is not even things talking about your product, service, or offering, but is purely talking about whatever there is to talk about, if you get along, it's probably going to help. It's probably going to create, not necessarily that they're going to buy or sign up or do the thing you want them to do, but that they'll at least be open-minded enough, right? So if you could start a call, so let's walk through all 4 of these prongs again, and kind of in the context of a communication with a client or a prospective client or prospective customer, and you'll see just how much of a difference it can make, right? So if you initially clearly communicate your offer, so they're not just befuddled by what you actually do or how it actually works, if you define what the path is, and so they ultimately know, okay, this is the process, steps, and the way that they implement or execute or fulfill the thing that they say they're going to do, and they've seen some content or materials of yours prior to talking to you, and the initial part of the conversation is good, is positive in some way, then ultimately when you get to the meat and potatoes of talking about the thing you want to discuss with them, the business opportunity that could be mutually valuable for both parties, the receptivity to that is going to be far, far higher, right? So if someone gets on the phone with me and they say, hey, we really like your offer. We understand the process. You don't seem like an idiot based on all of your content. And what's that? You actually want to know, anything about me besides whether I'll buy your thing? That's a nurtured lead. And so that's the thought for today. Hope the week continues to go well for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless. We'll see you next time.